you can put yourself on mute. If you need to just listen at the moment, that would be great, just to, again, reduce any background noise. Thank you very much. Just moving on to apologies, Ross.
Okay, I've got apologies from Councillor Logue, from Inspector MacLeod from Police Scotland. I've also now got apologies from Sharon Craig from North Calder Community Council, and from Reverend Donald and Marie McCabe. And what I'll do is I'll send a note of all the apologies to the note taker tonight, so they're all recorded.
Okay, thanks very much. And just moving on to the minutes of the previous meeting and any matters arising. Sorry, Matt, did you want to come in there?
Very briefly, Chair, just advise that Councillor Beveridge hopes to attend the meeting, but is running a bit late. Okay,
thank you. Just moving on to the minutes of the previous meeting and any matters arising. Does anyone have any specific matters arising from the previous meeting? No. Okie doke. Next point will be the East Airdrie Link Road update. Brian Lafferty. Brian.
Thanks for that, Chair. You may recall, excuse me, at the last meeting I gave a brief overview of where the City Deal team were with East Airdrie Link Road progress, and that they were going out to consult in May this year. That's actually now moved back to the summer due to further consideration being given to the Phase 1 consultation, because it's important we take all the stakeholders' view on board before we decide on a final outcome. So just to give you a heads up, that is going to be delayed in a couple of months until the summer. And what we intend to do going forward is for myself to bring along any projects that may be of interest that's happening in the Airdrie area over the next few months. So what we do is we get reports back from different services. So there are a couple of highlights I'd just like to bring your attention just now. So there's an extension to the existing New Monkland Cemetery going to take place, and that project is starting to make progress with anticipated completion towards the end of 2023. You may have come across it in your travels. The new supply team, they're constructing 150 new houses up at Northburn, the north of Airdrie, where we knocked down the 3 towers, Pentland, Merritt and Cheviot. That's ongoing, and we're also starting to, you'll have seen those old buildings being knocked down. It's been converted into 20 homes and business space, and that works are ongoing just now. I've talked about the East Airdrie Link Road, so that's the main things. It's the big projects that are going on in the area just now. And if anybody's got any queries or questions, I'm happy to take them. If I can't answer them, I'll get an answer for you and get back to you. So that's the update as it stands just now, Chair. Okay, thanks, Brian. MD, got any questions you want to ask Brian? In your mind, I can't. Councillor Coyle, Sophia.
Hi, sorry, I apologise. I tried to get in. I heard you, I just caught on the tail end of you saying about Northburn project, up the new build housing, is that correct?
That's right.
Right, it's just a question. We're obviously getting a load of complaints. Is that the containers for this project down at outside the Rooksholes Community Centre?
I need to look into that, Councillor. I would find Rooksholes Community, it's a bit far away. I'll get that checked out and come back to yourself. Is that okay?
Yes, if you don't mind, because I think there's about 13 there. And obviously that's where some of the kids and parents go for the Golf Hill Primary School, and it's affecting the neighbours at Crowhill Crescent.
So that's the one just as you go down the bottom of the road all the way down to join the road just before you turn up to Golf Hill School, am I right?
Sorry, I lost connection there.
Is that the community centre just down at the bottom of the road as you join the main road again, coming over the hill from Airdrie Academy towards Golf Hill Primary?
Yes, it is, Brian.
Right, I'll get that checked out, Councillor, tomorrow, and I'll get back to you if that's okay.
Brilliant, that's great, thank you.
Is that okay, Sophia?
That's great, thanks very much, and I apologise that I just came in at the tail end. And obviously Councillor Sullivan will be coming in. He'll be a bit late. He's running late as well.
Okay, thanks, no problem. Anybody else want to come in with any questions for Brian? You can raise your hand or...
I think Councillor Coyle still got up, down now, sorry.
I put my hand down.
Okay. Brian, it's Michael, Councillor McBride, can I just ask you a quick question as well about the Airdrie Link Road?
no
Obviously there's been a lot of discussion in the last few weeks about some changes which are being proposed from the Scottish Government to the sort of a new road projects. Do you think this will make any effect to the Airdrie East Link Road, or any slight changes, or any changes at all?
I'll be honest with you, Councillor McBride, I'll need to ask that of the team tomorrow and come back to you directly yourself. And I'll put it forward to Mark for a minute in the next meeting.
Okay, thanks very much.
So sorry, so the question was that the city deal of the government have proposing some changes, and will it make a difference to the preferred route of the East Airdrie Link Road? That's what you're asking, isn't it?
Yes, there were some suggestions that there's proposals maybe coming forward that any plans for like new roads, I don't know what stage they would be at, that they might be stopped altogether, or they could be changed in some way. I don't know. So it was just to ask that question if it would affect the Airdrie.
I think it's highly unlikely, because this is a well-established project, and but I'll get back to you on that. Okay,
thank you. No one else got any questions? I'll move on to the next point. Community matters, input from local community groups, agenda items on community groups. Ross, do you have any last minute specific requests on that?
Chair, we've not received any specific agenda items, so I don't know if you're maybe wanting to open that to the floor at this point.
Yep, okay. Is there any community groups who wish to come in at this time with any specific questions on community areas? Okay, no problem, thank you. And we have some local priorities. Is there a presentation covering some work on this, Ross? Next point, COVID-19 recovery and renewal.
Yes, Chair, we've got colleagues from NHS Lanarkshire and Van El that are going to do a presentation just on the Lloyd priorities and the work that's been going on around them.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Lynn Adams. I'm just going to share for health improvement. I'm just going to share the presentation. If you hold on, reset.
Okay, no problem.
That's it, sharing, Lynn.
Right, is it sharing? Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
I'm quite from. I was hoping it would be. I'm glad it's on Teams, because if it had been WebEx, I'd have been completely lost. I don't know how to share in WebEx. So, well, I'll just get started then. Yeah.
Yeah, just go on, Lynn. Yeah, thank you.
I'm Lynn Adams, and I'm the Health Improvement Senior for Airdrie locality, and I work for NHS Lanarkshire. And I've been asked to just come along and just give a brief presentation on the Airdrie Loip subgroup and the work that they're doing around progress in the local outcome improvement plan in Airdrie. So it's really just a brief overview of where we started and where we are now. So I'll just move on to the next slide. The first thing really is just a quick recap on how the local outcome improvement plan was formed, and according to the Community Empowering Act Scotland 2015, local outcome improvement plan should capture and reflect the local needs and aspirations of the local community. It should set out clear and agreed priorities and it should have an inequality focus. It should have a clear focus on reducing inequality and improving outcomes for the most disadvantaged groups in the localities. So here we are. This is just a recap again where we are now. You know, away back in September 20, I think it was roundabout, was or 21, we really started looking at developing some consultations through the listening stakeholder and community surveys, and results from that were shared with a short-term working group who was formed in March 21, and they identified the key priorities of the area. The Lloyd plans were approved and endorsed in June 21 and published in September 21, and they're available to view on North Lancashire Council website. If anybody wants a link, I'm sure Ross will pass that on. The plans outline the key priorities and actions, and the Lloyd leads and are officers responsible for the Lloyd themes. The subgroup, this resulted in a subgroup being established because that was one of the actions from one of the plans to progress and monitor the actions. The subgroup is members of the community board, but also it was opened up to wider members of the community. It's also now a standing item in the community board agenda. So the three priorities are themes, because it's at first I thought it was 3 plans, but now recently I've just found out it's 1 plan with 3 themes, and that's poverty, mental health and wellbeing, and COVID recovery and renewal. And that forms the Airdrie Lloyd. Where we are now, where's the story, so far? Where are we now, and what progress have we made? I thought I would just focus on 3 programmes of work, that have taken place in the locality over the last couple of months. And the first one is around poverty, the poverty theme, and that was a challenging poverty event. It was a Facebook event, and that was on October 21. There was a short-term working group established to support that plan, and that was evolved from the Airdrie Action Partnership. It was one of the actions from the Airdrie Action Partnership, who have got a responsibility for taking the actions of the Lloyd forward within Airdrie. The videos were created by partners, and it was showcasing just some of the work that they were doing to challenging poverty in Airdrie. It reached about 39,500 people, which I thought was really fantastic. It's 670 engagements. It included 30 comments. It was shared 135 times. 186 people reacted to the Facebook campaign. 195 links were clicked, and 1,444, I think that is, minutes were played. I think that the most successful videos were Who Cares Scotland, Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, Bare Necessities, and the Social Security Scotland. What was really good, the highest engagement was around Social Security Scotland job payment videos, but that came at a time when the furloughs were really just ending as well. So it was good to see that people were linking on that, because many people were furloughed and lost their jobs due to COVID. And so the Job Start payment just was showcased just at the right time to support people in the local community. The results were shared with our community members and the wider network. So that's just that kind of just one of that kind of, there's lots of work being done around poverty, but I thought I would just showcase in one piece of work for each theme. The next one was around the Living Streets. That was the Living Streets Out and About 20-minute neighbourhood project. That was a really successful campaign, and it's still ongoing, and the work is still being carried out. For what they did is they did a walkabout in the local areas in Airdrie, and they identified areas of concern, things of concern, like say pavements, cars packed up in pavements, wheelie bins, people, in certain areas couldn't kind of climb the hills and were really exhausted, so they installed 4 benches. There was a lot of really good work going on that. There's now, Living Streets has now got more funding to support the project, and it's now been rolled out to Win Hall, and an action plan is currently being developed to support that. So that's really about the COVID recovery and renewal, and it was also about reducing social isolation and loneliness, but it was also about improving the environment in the local area so that people could get out and about and walk more. Anne Docherty, who leads on the Living Streets, she's actually compiled a report, and I'm sure that will be shared with community board members, because Anne normally sits on the community board. And finally, is really around the mental health and emotional well-being. We hosted a mental health event on the 11th of May. That was the first face-to-face event we had in the community for a long time. And we were really surprised at the number of people that came along on the day. We didn't know what to expect. We weren't sure if community members would come along on the day, but 15 stallholders participated in the event, and that was a range of our sort of kind of community partners, local partners, but also other sort of kind of agencies. And these covered the 3 key themes. 60 members of the community attended. 25 people signed up to the North Lanarkshire Suicide Prevention app. That's a kind of local app. I normally share that in any of my updates. So what we're encouraging people to do in Lanarkshire, and especially in Airdrie, is to actually download the app on their iPhone. It's really, you can do it through Google Play or App Store, and it's free to download. I can send the links on for that afterwards. 26 people participated in a consultation. We actually did a desk exercise consultation a while back. So this one was really just to find about what people knew about the services and identify any gaps, because we're planning to produce a service directory. So we wanted to find out what people knew about the services in their area and what was missing from a directory that we're going to publish. Results for the survey will be shared, within the team. I'm collating the results at the moment, and I'll share that widely with the community board and partners. What's our way forward, really? It's just about continuing to progress the priorities and actions from the plan, and it's about monitoring and evaluating that progress. That's an essential part, because, we need to find out what's working and what's not working, so that we can review our actions. Priorities, they might not be able to change, but the actions are more fluid, and we can adapt as we progress the plan. We're always looking for new members onto the subgroup. As I say, we've got quite a wide range at the moment, but we would value input from any community board members today. So if you're interested in joining the subgroup, I've added our kind of lead officer's details at the end of the presentation. We're hoping to create a referral pathway and also a local service directory. And once the local service directory has been created, we're planning to go around local community areas, through a community breakfast roadshow, and so that we can launch, the Airdrie LOIP local service directory. So that's a piece of work. It's in planning and it's in progress, and we're hoping we've got some actions for that was discussed last night at our subgroup meeting. So this was really just about the subgroup membership. I'm responsible for the mental health and wellbeing theme of the plan. Judith Brenner is responsible for the COVID recovery, and Chrissy McGreedy is responsible for the community partnership. So if you've got any questions, I'm hoping Christina and Judith will help me out in this, but I can now stop sharing. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask.
Lynn, thank you very much for that presentation. That was really informative. There's some good details on there, and obviously quite a few people on the call are probably familiar with some of that information regarding subgroups, etc. So thanks, Lynn. So any questions from anyone to Lynn, Judith, and anyone else? Councillor Brevidge has raised his hand.
Thanks, Michael. Yes, Lynn, and my apologies for not being able to attend last night. The committee which Lynn's talking about is first class. The work they're doing is excellent. I participated along with other residents in the Airdrie North and a couple of street visits with Anne Docherty. And what they're planning for our area is immense. And I would encourage anybody who does not already to get involved in this committee with Lynn. It's first class the work that she does, and I hope you don't mind me saying that, Lynn. And especially elected members, they would certainly benefit from it from their area. Thanks.
Right, thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Alan. Anyone else want to ask Lynn? No. Lynn, could I just make an observation as well, please?
Yeah.
Obviously, I was interested with the 11th Street side of it because when I was previously in Cairnhill Community Council, we were involved with that 11th Streets, and we get 2 benches, one just near the Pilgrim Church and also one just in the middle of Cairnhill Road near the Woodburn Bridge. And I must say, since they have been there, it was nice to see local people using it. And I think more so the one at the Pilgrim Church, and what I have seen a few times, is that there's been a few residents who stay in Inglefield Court, the sheltered housing, who have used it, and they've maybe had some disability with walking, so they've been sitting there having a wee cup of tea and a sandwich, and it's been good to see it's been used that way. So that has really helped, especially down at that area. Which was one of the areas that was suggested initially, and obviously one at the top near the Woodburn Bridge at Cairnhill Road. So I would suggest that if you've got some strategic ideas, anyone that's on the call of maybe something like that, it's worthwhile having a look into with the community.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lynn.
Right. Thanks for your feedback, your positive feedback, Councillor McBride.
No problem. Anyone else want to add any questions to Lynn or Judith, or don't let Judith off light? Judith needs some questions. No one else? Okay. Thanks, Lynn, for that presentation. That was really good. Thanks very much.
What I'll do is I'll ask Ross to share it with the community board to circulate it.
Great. Okay. Thanks very much. Just moving on to the next point. It's under my Airdrie, which is I've not jumped to a section, have I, Ross? No.
Sorry, Chair. I think under the poverty section of our local priorities, I think our colleagues from Citizens Advice and perhaps Routes to Work had some things to bring in.
Yep. Okay. My apologies. Sorry, Citizen Advice Bureau. Sorry about that. If you want to jump in on that, please do.
I think Lynn has a presentation. I think she's maybe just
right. I wasn't sure if it was to do with the cab or just the presentation. Sorry. Right. So I'll just share. I can find slides. So it's just a very short presentation. I don't know, can you see these slides okay?
Yep, they're sharing fine.
Yep, right, okay. So this is just, as I say, a short presentation about the gambling support service. It's run by Citizens Advice Scotland and we're funded by Gamble Aware. It's about gambling harms and the wide-reaching consequences it has, because it's advertised like fun and exciting and contributing to good causes. But around half of adults in Britain actually take part in some form of gambling without any harm being done. But for some people and their families, gambling harms is quite serious, and as I say, with very wide-reaching consequences. And the current gross gambling yield in the industry is £14.1 billion. And as I say, Citizens Advice has been funded by Gamble Aware to deliver this project, and the aims of the project is to deliver training to frontline staff and volunteers to increase awareness and ways to recognise gambling harm in people, and included and affected others as well, which is like friends, family and work colleagues, and to enable frontline workers to recognise people at risk or experiencing gambling harm. We want to raise awareness of the impact of gambling harm in our communities and across Scotland, and provide guidance on using some of the screening tools that we have, and also to be able to provide a holistic client advice service where we can either signpost or support, provide resources and make referrals to specialist treatment services as well. The Gambling Support Service training is delivered on how to identify if a person is at risk of gambling harm, and it's not just the person who's gambling, as we say, it's affected others as well. So it's to help them to understand how gambling affects people and how to start that discussion with the person in an open and supportive way using the screening tools, and what next steps can be taken to recommend them to help them deal with the actual harms of gambling. The support service project is delivered throughout Scotland by training and engagement officers. There are 4 located throughout the whole of Scotland. There's one in Inverness, South West Aberdeenshire, West Lothian, and myself and Evelyn based in Airdrie. We cover the west and the southwest of Scotland. So although we work regionally, we also work collaboratively to make sure that there's a whole nationwide coverage of the service. So sorry, this hasn't come up properly. I was hoping it was going to come up in the sections. It's not coming up. Sorry.
Right, okay.
It should come up with other things on the slide, but it doesn't seem to be doing it.
And from this end, I can read it says gambling harm indicators.
Yeah, but there should be boxes within that slide. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be coming up. I didn't put it onto the slideshow, so I don't know why it's come up like that. And I can't see where to change it. Has anybody got any suggestions?
See if you click on it again, Lynn, is it bringing your boxes in?
No, that's what I'm trying to do, but it's not doing it, Evelyn.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
there we go. There we go. So right. So the training is set up, as we say, to help staff identify when someone is at risk of or already experiencing gambling harms, and what steps to take to help them to deal with the problem gambling. The specialist training sessions will help staff to raise questions and feel confident in doing so. And in almost any advice giving or welfare setting, there is a unique opportunity to spot signs of the root causes of particular issues. So like say financial or relationship issues, but they might need that extra support if the underlying problem is with the addictive issues such as problem gambling. And these indicators in this box are just some of the things that can identify when someone is at risk of gambling harm. And we're not saying that everybody that, you know, tries to be secretive or uses food banks is gambling, but when we look at people who are gambling or people who have been affected by gambling harm, this is some of the things that's always identified when we're looking at the outcomes. So when we see all the areas of life where gambling harm can affect, you can see how it can spread out, and not just for the person that's gambling, but as we say, for the affected others as well. And frontline workers can make a big impact by recognising and addressing problem gambling, and by being well informed on the industry support tools and the specialist organisations that offer the treatments and the therapies. Our specialist training sessions can be tailored to meet the needs of your organisation. They can be very flexible, from very short presentations and just attending open engagements to full training sessions for staff can be 60 or 90 minutes or more, whatever's needed. And we do PowerPoint presentations, and they can be arranged at a time to suit your organisation or your teams and adapted to small groups or large groups. As a project, we don't really care how many people attend or we know what organisation it is. We're just trying to get the word out and make sure as many people are made aware of the harms of gambling as possible. So in less restrictive times, we would have done face-to-face training, but with everything that happened with COVID, we had to go into digital platforms. But now moving forward, where all the restrictions are being lifted, we're hoping that we can go back to the face-to-face. So clients can access the services by just attending the local Citizens Advice Bureau. They can phone in, they can email, they can attend in person and present their issues, and it can be taken up from there. The organisations you can contact either, if it's in this area, you can contact myself or Evelyn, and the Scottish email address at the bottom, you can email that direct, the gambling support one, and that'll be disseminated out to whatever training officer is in that area. So as I say, we're just really trying to get the word out, but the project's been running for 3 years, but it was kind of put on the back burner with COVID. We couldn't do as much as we wanted to when all that was going on. We've just been refunded for 3 years. So we're just trying again to get the word out and hope as many organisations will contact us as possible for training for their frontline staff. So if anybody's got any questions, if I can answer them now, I'll do my best. If not, I'll get the answers for you.
Thanks very much, Lynn, for that informative slideshow again. That was really useful. So if anyone's got any questions specifically for Lynn, and I'm sure maybe Evelyn will take some questions if need be. If anyone wants to jump in with a couple of questions, if you've got them, you can just make yourself known.
If nobody's wanting to say anything, I'll just give a couple of fun facts about gambling. Actually, the Monklands area had more bingo halls in the whole of the UK at one point. So that's how big the gambling problem is. Also, Glasgow and surrounding areas have more bookie shops or betting shops, and the whole second to London in the whole of the UK. So when you think that the size of Scotland alone only has 5.5 million people, and London has about 7 million, as well. So we've got a smaller percentage, but around Glasgow in the west, they have more bookie shops in the whole of the UK outside London.
Seems to be becoming socially acceptable in this area, along with drugs and alcohol.
And it has been. It's a way of life, isn't it, in the west of Scotland? And everybody walks about with a mobile betting shop. And
they're quite handy when you're out about and need a pee, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, did somebody want to come in there? Sorry, got a question.
Hi there, yes, I'm Adriana, I'm from Glen Mavis Community Council. Hi everybody.
Hi Adriana.
Apologies for not having my camera on, I'm having some problems with my camera today. I just want to say thank you for that information, guys, because we've recently signed up to take part in the North Lanarkshire Community Lottery, which is obviously a great initiative for fundraising for the local community, but obviously there are the gambling connotations of that, and of course we're being encouraged to promote that as much as we possibly can and encourage people to buy tickets and to sign up to supporting the community that way. And yes, as you pointed out, there's thousands of people across the country all gamble very healthily, but I have been very conscious about the messaging around encouraging people to take part without balancing that with a bit of a kind of consciousness of the problems of gambling. So this gives us a good opportunity to put some messaging out to kind of balance that out. So I just want to say thanks for that, and I think that's going to be really useful content for us.
Thanks, Adriana. Lynn or Evelyn, do you want to come back in on that?
a lot of people, when we talk about the lottery, it is advertised as, you know, you're giving to good causes and it is something good, and we're not trying to demonise gambling. Gambling can be a good thing. I mean, I run the syndicate and the work for the Euro Millions, so it can be a good thing if it's done healthily, but it's for the percentage of people in the country that as an addiction, they've got a predisposition to that kind of behaviour and they can't control it, and it is very, very harming. And you'll find that the most amount of money that's gambled comes from a very small percentage of people. There's about 86% of the money that's gambled comes for the top 5% gamblers. So it is for the small percentage of people that do it, it is a very, very harmful activity, and that's what we're trying to address.
Yeah,
so buy a lottery
I
ticket, we're not out to get you if you buy a lottery ticket.
No, that's the thing. I think really for me it was more just a kind of a social consciousness perspective of wanting to balance that messaging, you know. So that's it's just helpful in that respect. So thank you for that.
No bother.
I think what we have to look at as well is like a lot of people will don't look at the lottery as gambling, and the lottery is not harmful if you know how to manage it. But some people will spend 20-30% of their weekly income in buying lottery tickets, you know, scratch cards, you know. So you know that there is a problem there for some people. So it's about trying to just raise awareness, especially for affected others, which would be maybe somebody's partner, husband, you know, husband, wife. You've got a mother or father, you know. So just giving the indicators so that they can identify it early intervention. You know, because usually we deal with crisis situations, but we're trying to be more proactive, and we're looking at ways to tackle things before they become problems, rather than dealing with it once the problem's there.
Thanks, Evelyn. Brian, you've got your hand up. Do you want to come in?
Thanks, Chair. It was just a wee comment in the back of what Evelyn said there. I mean, the lottery, she mentioned that people think it isn't gambling, but if you do the Monday and the Saturday and the Wednesday, and you're doing a couple of lines, and then you're doing the postcode lottery and the children's lottery, that can add up to £100 a month for some families. You know what I mean? So it's a kind of, how would you describe it? A hidden kind of addiction that you don't realise until you're in knee deep that you're actually involved in it, and then getting out of it when you've got the same numbers you've had for the last 5 years, and you're frightened not to do it in case they come up. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's a vicious circle. That was all I wanted to say, Mike.
No, that's actually a very good point, Brian. It is a hidden addiction. You see someone that's under the influence of alcohol or drugs walking down the street, you can see it, but somebody's gambling, it's very hidden. You can't see that. You can't notice it unless you are aware of, as I say, some of the wee indicators that we can watch out for. But it is a very secretive addiction. Like, say, when Evelyn mentioned the mobile phone, you get people maybe in work or in the house, you know, knitting to the toilet for a toilet break. They could be in gambling, but you know, you just don't know. And the statistics are very kind of ski-whiff, for want of a better description, because not everybody records gambling harm, so we don't know the true extent of the problem.
Thank you, Lynn. Adriana, do you want to come back in? Was that your hand up from the last time?
Sorry, that's the last time. I'm just clearly not sure how to use this, so yeah.
No problem.
I will take my hand.
Can we just say that this this training can be cascaded across the whole of Lanarkshire? Because someone has asked in the, you know, in the advice box, in the chat box there about Coatbridge, it goes across the whole of Lanarkshire.
Yeah, that's great, Evelyn. Thank you so much. I mean, that was very helpful. Sorry, I'm just shadowing. So I'm the Health Improvement Senior covering the Coatbridge locality. So it would be good to link up with you guys. It's really very helpful. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think just on summary from me, I think there's a bigger picture conversation needed, and I know it's been discussed going back quite a few years, maybe at least 10+ years, about the quantity, and I know you mentioned it, Evelyn, about the quantity of bookmakers in certain locations, town centres, even including, you know, sort of a takeaways, all this kind of stuff. So they always seem to be in an area where there's a sort of a higher poverty percentage and level, and it's down to, many people have said that it needs to be a national discussion about how we try to reduce or prevent too many getting into one place. Because I think specifically in Airdrie, and I couldn't actually tell you every single one, but it's interesting that since COVID, some have closed down because of online gambling, I would guess. So it's moved from the high street to online, but obviously there's probably still too many in one small area.
Councillor McBride, we usually say that, in the areas that are slightly poorer or less affluent, you'll have more bookies. You don't very seldom get bookies next to a deli, if a delicatessen. So you're going into some areas and you'll see them on every corner. So you might have 20 or, within a 5-mile radius. But if you go into the more affluent areas, you won't see, if at all, you won't see a bookmakers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, thank you very much for that. If everyone's finished with that, thanks Lynn, thanks Evelyn and everyone who contributed. We're just moving on to the next section, which is under My Airdrie, point 1, which is town and community hubs, town visions, etc. And that's by the Airdrie Town Action Plan report by NLC Growth Team.
Oh, sorry, can I just come in? Roots to Art, Julie Davidson's here. And she,
sorry, my apologies. My apologies.
To give an update on the work that they're doing. So, Julie.
Thanks very much, Christina. Councillor Michael, I'm ready to go if you are.
No problem. Sorry about that.
No problem. I'll just try and share my document. Okay. 2 minutes, just uploading. Okay, can everybody see that? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to introduce myself, my name's Julie Davidson. I'm a team leader at Roots to Work, and we have recently launched the Airdrie Central Community Engagement Project in Airdrie. The project is funded by the UK government, and it aims to support people and communities most in need across the UK to pilot programmes in preparation for the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. So the aim of the programme is to invest in skills, community and place, local business and supporting people into employment. So in terms of our project, we've taken a different approach. We are targeting unemployed people, economically inactive or people that are in insecure or unstable work so that we could tackle poverty. We're targeting the areas that are most deprived in Airdrie, looking at Winhall, Coatdyke, Cairnhill, Royards, the town centre and Gardley. We had identified that the Airdrie Central area had the highest benefit claiming rate of 9.4%. And the way we're going about it is through a concentrated, intense engagement offering pre-employability and personal development activities. We hope to provide innovative practice so that we can support people to progress towards their own individual and personal goals. So the types of engagement that we've been doing, so we have what I think is really unique about the programme is that we have peer mentors on the programme, and those peer mentors have had lived experience of being out of work and then progressing into work, so they can inspire and motivate the people of Airdrie that it is possible that things can change, your life can change, and you can progress towards your goals and what you want to achieve. So the peer mentors have been clients at Roots to Work, so they've been on the journey with us, so they do understand our service and they also understand the benefits of moving and progressing into employment as well. We also have community engagement workers on the programme as well, because the project's all about trying to reach those most excluded, those most isolated in the communities, and target the people that, especially post-COVID, that, you know, are maybe struggling to re-engage with services again. So the way we go about that is approaching people in the neighbourhood. We seek out participants, like knocking on doors and attending targeted locations. We liaise with our frontline partners, and we have attendance at organised community events, and we also organise our own interest and hobby-based activities to engage people as well, all within the community. So we offer pre-employability, personal and social development training. So looking at a combination of one-to-one and group support, recognising that some people might not be necessarily ready for group support. So we're able to adapt and provide one-to-one for those that need it. We conduct individual skills analysis and assessment and action plan. We look at motivational programme delivery, progression routaways, develop the core and life skills, and offer as well certificated and accredited courses and industry-specific routaways. We also want to tackle digital inclusion, exclusion as well, and help people that might struggle with digital literacy skills. Also as well providing employability skills and facilitating industry-based or vocational training and making that specific to the client needs. We have 2 community caseworkers on the programme that work from community centres, and they see clients within the community centres as well. And they conduct a holistic assessment of our clients to look at their health, their well-being, their skills, their finance and their support network that they have. And using that information, then we're able to make a kind of progression plan or goal plan specifically for the client. We offer one-to-one appointments, so look at further skills development and training. We also as well work with our colleagues and our partners for joint caseload management. We conduct job seeking and help with job applications, childcare and travel planning, employability skills, and just supporting our clients to the goals that they want to progress and achieve. So in terms of the team structure, so you might have myself as the team leader, we have 2 community caseworkers, we have 2 trainers, we actually needs change. We actually have financial wellbeing advisor from CAB on the programme, 2 peer mentors and 2 community engagement workers and 2 business support assistants. And we're also working in collaboration with North Lanarkshire Council for Housing Services. So this is how we see our client progression, pathway to progression. So the client engages in their programme through the activities that we've mentioned. We build in clients' confidence by looking at complementary therapies, life coaching, condition management therapies, confidence building, motivational building. We also look at the learning and training of our clients as well. What type of training does our clients need, whether that's building on their employability skills, whether it's building on their literacy or numeracy skills, whether that's building on their ICT skills. And we look at the employability support. But not all our clients might move into employment. It could be education, training, or volunteering. It's just specific to the client. But you know, with any of those types of opportunities, there could be like personal statements involved, so applications involved. So we support our clients with that as well. And for us, success is about helping our clients progress, making a difference every day, and you know, just the small goals can really make a difference to the clients that we work with. And you know, we recognise that, and that's a big achievement for some of our clients, and those achievements differentiate between one client to another. And we do recognise that as well. So we have a range of different, we are working with all age groups in the Airdrie Central area, Ward 9. And we have a range of different client groups that we are specifically targeting so that we can engage with and tackle those barriers that they're facing. I won't read all them out. So the outcomes we want to achieve, so we want to engage with 188 individuals within the Airdrie Central area. We would like to register 158 individuals and support the people that we engage with, clients we engage with education and training, qualifications, job searching, life skills support, engaging with the benefits system, and helping them to achieve part-time or full-time work. And like I said, those goals are specific to our clients, and it is what our clients want to achieve. What I think is a really great unique selling point of this project, and fantastic offering, is the fact that we have a partnership with Citizens Advice Bureau, and we have a dedicated financial and wellbeing advisor attached to the project. And this is key for tackling poverty, and for this project, with clients in the situation that we're facing at the moment, that gives clients that direct and fast access to someone, to Laura, who's been great with her clients, and she's already seen 63 of her clients that have been registered in the programme as well. So we conduct benefit checks, including better off calculations. We provide guidance on applications and benefit application forms, support clients with the personal independence payment application guidance, looking at budgeting, priorities, money and debt advice, house and relationships, universal credit queries, and understanding childcare costs. We also, as well, what I think is fantastic as well, is Laura works really closely with her caseworkers and is out in the community as well with her caseworkers, offering face-to-face appointments. And she can, of course, conduct telephone appointments as well, just dependent on the client's needs. And I think that's what's key, is just looking at our clients and what do they need in terms of their preferences to engage with them. You might have noticed that we're also in the market. So this is our fantastic balloon decoration that was provided with one of our talented team members, Emma. So we wanted to be accessible to the clients in Airdrie. So we also as well tried to get a location in Airdrie, but we weren't able to get one, unfortunately, in the Airdrie Town Centre. So we adapted and we got a venue in the market. And what I have to say is that's been really successful and really raising awareness of Roots to Work. And we do get a lot of clients or people that pop in, they know that we're there, they come in, they say hello, and it really is creating great awareness. So we're really happy to have got that location and be most accessible to the clients of Airdrie, people of Airdrie. We also have as well been looking at different types of events to support people and engage people, and keeping in mind that it is more challenging, providing those incentives for people to come and engage with us. So the first event that we run was in partnership with Crazy Castles in the Airdrie Central, and that was providing parents with an opportunity to come along and hear about our service, with the kids getting access to free child play and also access to a free lunch as well. And that was a great event. It was really good to see, to meet with parents, kids getting access to play, so their childcare was covered for that duration, that they could enjoy, hear about the service, and the feedback from the event was really really good as well. So it was really good. We also worked in partnership with Peak for You Fitness to offer Wellness Wednesday, which was access to a gym membership. But what we found with that is we had lots of clients. This event is we had lots of people that were interested to come along, but the people didn't attend. So that made us question, why are people so interested in our events but not coming along? And we started to think that anxiety was quite a key issue following COVID as well. So we then organised an anxiety workshop, and that was at the Airdrie Library. So we had a trained counsellor that attended on the day. We provided a free lunch as well, and we had 16 participants that attended the anxiety workshop from the Airdrie area. And that was a great success for us because, understand with anxiety, it's challenging, when you're going to something that's unknown. And we had some of our kind of partners as well, and occupational therapists attended and support workers attended with some clients as well. So that was a really great event for us, and the feedback that we had from the clients was really good as well about the day. One of the upcoming events that we have is Cooking on a Budget. and that's running on the 23rd of June. We recognise, you know, with the energy costs at the moment, that, you know, we have CAB coming along as well, our financial wellbeing advisor, to provide advice on energy, and we're also as well offering people the opportunity to learn how to cook on a budget, gain that advice, and we are working in partnership with Community Food and Health Partnership. So we have a nutritionist there as well, so that'll help people to look at the food options that they're buying, and also as well to do that on a budget. And we will be providing the essential supplies for that as well. So that's a real incentive as well. And don't have it on a slide, is we're working in partnership with Bare Necessities with an event on the 28th of June, providing home safety kits and an access to the REHIS health and safety qualification. So we're, like I mentioned, we're out in the community, and we're out in outreach locations so that we are more accessible to the clients that the people we're looking to engage with in Airdrie. So we're in the Cairnley Parish Church a Tuesday and a Thursday all day. We're in the Airdrie Leisure Centre on a Tuesday morning. We're in the Airdrie Library on a Thursday morning. We're also in Beachbank Community Centre on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're in Gartley Community Centre on a Monday morning as well. And that's in addition to our market venue. And I'm just going to play a short video just to summarise everything that we're just saying. So play that now.
I don't think the video is playing yet, unless I'm just missed it.
It's playing on mines.
Oh.
Playing on mines as well, Michael.
Was it?
Right here.
Okay, well, I think that was it finished actually. Sorry about that, Michael, if you didn't see the video.
I can see the point of breaking news, but that's it.
Sorry, that was the video just finished. And then, so does anybody have any questions?
Sophia, Councillor Coyle's raised a hand. Can you go, Sophia?
Yeah, Michael, I'm having IT issues, so bear with me if I jump off and on. I've been trying to go on about 20 times and it's cutting me off, so I'm fearing to move about. This looks fantastic, but obviously am I correct in saying, and you're going to laugh because I'm Airdrie North councillor, and obviously they have their issues in Airdrie North with deprivation and employment issues as well, and this seems a fantastic project, but it seems more Airdrie Central, and it's just to see if is it any intentions to expand to the villages.
It is specifically in Airdrie Central. We do have at Roots to Work other services that can support any clients from out with our targeted area. This is a pilot project, so we're looking at how much a difference we can make, for example, to education attainment levels, because there's low education attainment levels in the area, helping people that are economically inactive so that they can start to re-engage in benefits, because we had the statistical information for that area. So that's why it's more a targeted specific approach, because it is a pilot. But in terms of if you have any participants that need any support, then we do have full services at Roots to Work. We have our specialist services and caseworkers that can support people with any health conditions. We also have specialist caseworker who can support anybody that has any criminal justice issues or experiences. Also as well, any housing or homelessness issues. And we have specialist caseworkers that work with long-term unemployed and 50+ as well, over 50 plus. So there's definitely services that people can engage with. And if you do meet, what we have found, if any of our staff are engaging with anyone that are out with our targeted areas, then we do get them signed up for Routes to Work, and get somebody get in touch with them to support them. So I know that wouldn't have answered your question, Sophia, but well, I hope it's gave you a wee bit of comfort that there is still support there for the client people of Airdrie North.
Thanks, Julie. It is good, and obviously I heard you saying it is a pilot scheme. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can maybe roll it out to Airdrie North villages.
Fingers crossed as well, Sophia.
Right, thanks.
Okay, is that okay, Sophia?
That's great. Thanks very much, guys.
Okay. Chris Costello's raised hands. Councillor Costello.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks, Julie, for that presentation. Really informative. Just to ask, is there any kind of work with school leavers? You know, kind of younger people who are maybe looking for work and may have their own kind of personal circumstances and would probably benefit from a lot of stuff that you've said.
We can support school leavers on this project, but we also have our own specific Young Persons Guarantee programme as well. The Young Persons Guarantee programme looks specifically at some of the young people that have experienced challenges or difficulties, for example, mental health, part of the LGBT community, care experience, criminal justice experience, and that programme specifically for 16 to 24-year-olds. And we do actually have an event tomorrow at the Airdrie at Home Centre, which is for school leavers. Routes to Work are running that event so that we can support people into the destinations that they're looking to progress into. That event is running tomorrow at 1 p.m. To 3 p.m. at the At Home Centre. So if you come across, MD comes across any young people on their travels, then you can let them know from up until tomorrow that event's running. And obviously, if you do have anybody as well that aren't able to go to the event, then we do have a specific Young Persons Guarantee programme, and the young people can obviously sign up for this programme as well.
Great, thank you.
Is that okay, Chris?
Yeah, thanks, Michael.
Okay, I think there was another hand raised, but I can't see it. Ross, can you tell me if somebody else has raised a hand?
Yes, Chair, it's Lorna Johnson.
Hi, Lorna.
Hiya. It's for Julie. It's more of a comment than a question. It's just I've seen that you're cooking on a budget with Lanarkshire Food and Health Partnership. We done that at Carers Week for Lanarkshire Carers last week for the first time for a pilot, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's one of our best received training sessions that we've done. So, and it was with the same, it was with the Food and Health Partnership, and it was fantastic because it was something interactive. But the exchange between the carers was fantastic because they were then passing tips on amongst each other. So I hope it goes as well for yourselves, but it's something that we are now repeating because there was such good feedback on it. I think there's a need out there for people to learn ways to go forward with the budgeting because everything's so expensive. So that was all, just to say I hope it goes well for yourselves.
Oh, thanks so much, Lorna. It's really it's really great to hear as well that you've run something similar and it's worked so well for the people that attended. So so hopefully we have the same success. So hopefully I'll update you the next time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lorna.
Now I can see, well, I can see one person raised their hand, but I think there's a second. I don't know who the other person is. Councillor Damasio, and then there's someone else.
I think it's Councillor Toner first, Chair, and then Councillor Damasio after her.
Councillor Toner and then Councillor Damasio. Councillor Toner.
Hi, thanks for having me on. A bit of an odd question, well, an odd question, an odd request, I'm not entirely sure. You've mentioned a whole bunch of people, and there are a whole bunch of people that this is all going to benefit from kids and carers and all the rest of it. I was actually at the Hope for Autism Open Day this afternoon. I'm just wondering, is there room for supporting people who are neurodivergent to, you know, back out to work? As you know, there's the percentage of people being diagnosed with autism is rising all the time, and there's quite a large pocket of them in Airdrie Central, actually, as it is. So I'm just wondering if that's a wee niche area that has been looked at yet, and if not, can we set that up?
Yeah, so we have been in touch with Hope for Autism, and it is something that we have considered, just not implemented yet. So definitely we'll get back in touch with Hope for Autism to look at that, because fully aware as well, we had someone on seeing us a couple of weeks ago as well. Sorry, I forgot her name as well. Voiceability, from Voiceability. It was about advocating for people with disabilities or health conditions in terms of the benefits system, and she runs a support group for autism as well. And that's something that we were chatting about, how it's grown now that people have so many different learning needs and learning needs, and that we need to adjust to support them and adapt so that our service is inclusive to everyone. So yeah, definitely. Thanks very much, Councillor Janice.
Very much. That's really good to know. Thank you.
Okay, is that okay, Janice?
Absolutely wonderful. I'm delighted. As an autistic person myself, I think it's really, really important for people with communication difficulties to be able to reach out, because quite often the organisations aren't reaching out to us, so we have to sort of reach out to the organisations, which is why I stuck my nose in the first place. Sorry. But thank you very much. It's really good to know.
No problem. Okay, thank you. Councillor Damasio, Paul? Councillor Damasio?
Thanks, Michael. I'll be very brief. I just really wanted to place on record, thank the speakers, first of all, for their informative presentations and contributions, and just to thank all the organisations concerned for the immense and crucial work that they do in our communities. So, everybody that's involved in the Lloyd, CAB, puts the work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Thanks for that. Anyone else got their hands up for any questions? Am I missing anyone, Ross? No?
That's us, clear, Chair.
Okay. Julie, thank you very much for that presentation. It was really useful. It was great for that update, and I think everyone on the call is obviously quite pleased with the detail and the clarity on specific things that we believe is the right thing to do. And I think obviously moving forward, there is definitely scope to expand on this into other areas. I know that puts demands on yourselves and resources, but if that can be expanded, as Sophia Coyle said as well, and in Airdrie North, and I'm sure Councillor Dimash will be thinking the same on our Airdrie South. There's specific areas I would be looking at for Airdrie South and other areas, I guess, out with that. So thank you very much for that. It was very worth that information. So thanks again for that. Thank you very much. So just make sure I've got my right track on the agenda now. Ross, just correct me if I'm wrong here, but we're on to my Airdrie now, yeah?
That's it, agenda item 9.1, Chair.
Okay, thanks. And it's the Town and Community Hubs, Town Visions, from the Airdrie Town Action Plan report by NLC Growth Team. Thank you.
Hello, Chair. This is Craig McIntyre. I'm the project lead for the Town Visions. Can you hear me? Yep.
Yep, no problem.
I'm effectively here to bang a drum to try and gain some support for the production of the town action plans that stem from the Town Visions. The council approximately 3 years ago recognised that there's certain structural changes that are happening across all of our town centres related to the increase in online retail, issues around the fabric and condition of some of the housing within our town centres, and also the way that people engage with town centres. So 3 years ago we started this project. I'm glad to say that in September of last year the Town Visions were approved and adopted by the council as a direction of travel for all of our towns to follow. They're not master plans, they're not programmes of work. The Town Visions were deliberately meant to be conceptual and to basically raise the profile of the changes that are happening across all of our town centres. None of the town visions are identical. They all basically respond to the particular issues in each of the towns. Airdrie has its own particular issues, but it also has a number of opportunities which we want to capitalise on and focus on. So, as I said, we started this project 3 years ago. We decided to continue with the project through the pandemic. That created some issues around public engagement and consultation. Certain feedback we got was that we were presenting people with a fait accompli rather than engaging and sort of co-producing the visions with them. For that, we can only apologise, but we had to move forward to get these sort of headline positions in place, not least because we were aware that there were going to be significant changes from national, UK and Scottish government around the funding packages towards towns. And if we didn't have a sort of vision in place for our communities and for our towns, then that might have excluded us from accessing some of this funding. So we feel that it was the right time. The feedback we've got from the government and from agencies like Scotland's Towns Partnership is that having the visions in place sets a clear agenda and a clear proposal for the private sector to fall behind and to support, because that's a key point. It's the private sector who own the majority of our towns. The council over the last 10 years has focused on the issues that it can influence and change, which is the public realm. Most towns have had their public realm significantly improved, but the purpose of the visions was to basically be an advocacy document to get the private sector owners and landlords and retailers and businesses to recognise that change is happening and we need to get ahead of that change. I'm hopefully sharing an image of the Airdrie Town Vision. Can people see that?
No, there's nothing on screen, Craig.
Right, give me a second. I'll just... Here we go. How's that?
That's it. You've still got your avatar. That's it up now.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So this is a graphic which shows the sort of conceptual proposals for Airdrie Town Centre. In essence, it's trying to retain what we've got, recognise what we could possibly lose through structural changes like the drop in retailing. Our expert panel that we put together from the private sector identified that could be up to a 30% reduction in retail floor space across all of our towns. So clearly, given the sort of fractured ownership and complexities of ownership in areas like Airdrie, what we can't have is a series of vacant and subsequently derelict properties sort of gap toothing across the town. So the main and simple message around this sort of loss of activity is to try and backfill the activity with residential development, because we have a relatively low population within our town centres, and those people who do stay in our town centres are in properties that are coming up for about 100 years old. And in terms of their fabric, they need refurbishment, they need modernisation. So it's not just a sort of a proposal for demolition and new build. There's also a refurbishment activity here. We do not want to lose businesses, but we feel that businesses will unfortunately have to close. The pandemic only accelerated that. So what we want to do, although we don't own the problem, what the council wants to do is to be in a position where we can offer support to those businesses that do feel as though they have a long-term commitment to Airdrie, to try and focus around core retailing areas, and then in the sort of areas where we feel that we're going to lose the most floor space, we're going to approach these owners and to offer partnership in the form of refurbishing their properties towards alternative uses. Our chief executive was very clear. He didn't want tinkering around the edges. He wanted transformative change. And the next sort of slide gives an indication of that sort of transformative change. This is the eastern approach into the main street. You've got the health centre on the left, and effectively you've got the current market building on the right, re-envisioned as a retail podium. Effectively, it could be the current market upgraded, but more importantly, with a residential offering on the upper floors. Now, that residential offering is being driven by changes in demographics. We have an increasingly elderly population who thankfully are living longer and leading more active lives, but at the same time, they are dislocated from the services and the activities that they want to use. So one of the sort of key audiences we see for the flatted development that will be developed in the town centres is for the elderly market, and a way to assist them in downsizing from suburban 2-3 bed houses into good quality, energy efficient flatted development directly located in the key central area. That's not just in terms of physical proximity, there's also benefits in that in terms of mental health and isolation, and that if people can see activity, then they feel part of the community. So all of these things are part of the foundation of the visions that we put forward. Now, the reason why I'm here tonight to speak to you is to basically ask the community board to agree to the establishment of a towns subgroup to effectively deliver the physical changes that the visions heralded. So in effect, we're moving from a vision which is conceptual to a town action plan, which is going to be very site specific and physically based. To give you an indication of this is a graphic which was presented to last week's RSL forum. It gives an indication as to the level of opportunity that exists in Airdrie in terms of trying to respond to potential vacancies in the commercial sector, but also in the office sector, but also in the heritage sector. We also know that the police station has now become surplus to requirements. That whole corner there is a very important corner to the street. So these are buildings that we want to protect their contribution to the town, their heritage aspects, but we want to give them a new purpose and a new longevity to them because they are in quite precarious positions in terms of their uses, but we want to get in there as quickly as we can to arrest the physical decline of the fabric of the building. So what we envisage is that we're going to send out invitations. Well, this is the invitation to the community board to identify themselves as being willing to individuals to be part of that subgroup. And over the summer and the early autumn, we're going to work with you through a co-production on the issues, opportunities, constraints, and potential projects that could be delivered to help deliver the vision itself. So we're not coming to you with a finished article in this time. We're coming to you with a framework of the vision, but also a framework of opportunities that we see as happening, especially over the changes, the accelerated changes that have happened since the pandemic. So as I say, we want to engage as much as we can, because the more we engage, the more ownership exists within the community towards the action plan. The action plan will not be delivered all at once. It's a 5, 10 and 15-year programme of short, medium and long-term projects. As I said, not all the projects will be immediately deliverable because they effectively impact on private land ownership. So therefore, once again, we're trying to use this as an advocacy document to get the private sector on board and behind us. Now, since we started the town visions, certain landowners have approached the council to basically recognise the changes that we've identified. And in the likes of Cumbernauld, we've had a significant landowner there come to us and effectively offer us practically a third of the town centre, because they recognise that as an asset, it's becoming increasingly less, what's the word? viable, but also less valuable to them as well. So the big institutional owners are recognising that change is happening now. The purpose of the visions and the purpose of the site-specific town action plans is to try and get in amongst that change and to try and improve things for the community of Airdrie. We've got different levers and we've got different policies coming from the UK and Scottish Government that the visions completely accord with, and that also includes, most importantly, access to finance, which we didn't have 3 years ago. We've got the UK Levelling Up Fund, we have the Scottish Government's place-based investment programme, we have our own ambition programme, which
I think we've lost you there. Can you hear us, Craig? Ross, can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm leant against my button. Right. So I'm conscious it's been quite a full agenda. I'd just like to finish, Chair, by saying that we need participants in this subgroup to basically get their local knowledge, to get that understanding of the place that is Airdrie Town Centre, but more importantly, to get an understanding from those individuals what they want the place to be. And clearly, while it's not completely within our gift, the more the council can propose tangible and viable projects, the more likely the private sector is to get behind us. So final word is to say, if people can see whether or not they have the time over the summer months to participate in workshops, there'll probably be a minimum of 3 workshops where we start looking at opportunities. The next thing, we come back with some due diligence against those opportunities as to what's viable. And then the third workshop will be looking at prioritisation of potential projects. So it's an opportunity for the community to basically develop the action plan that they want to see with the assistance of officers. Ultimately, that draft town action plan would be put out to public consultation in the autumn, with a view to the action plan itself being finalised and presented to the policy committee in cycle 1 in 2023. We can't move forward on all 8 towns just due to staff resources. What we're doing is prioritising those towns where we feel there is the best opportunity and in terms of corporate spending priorities as well. So that's why we're looking at Airdrie, Cumbernauld, Motherwell and Wishaw. The other 4 towns aren't very happy about that because they're being pushed back, but we can't effectively address all 8 at once. So thank you for your time, Chair, and I'm willing to take questions on the report and also the short presentation I've provided.
Okay, thank you very much, Craig, for that. Can I just check first before we move on to questions? You want the board tonight to adopt your proposal of the subgroup? Is that what you need?
Yes, please, Chair, with just the principle of establishing a subgroup, and then for individuals to contact me to put their name, make their names available, following which I'll send out a programme for the workshops and invitations to those workshops.
Okay, I think probably the quickest question would be, is them to get any objections to that proposal? No. Okay, that sounds if it's been passed, Craig. Is that okay, Ross?
Yep, that's fine, Chair. And based on that, if it's easier, I'll send an email out to the whole board tomorrow morning with Craig's contact details so that people can get in touch with him directly and register their interest to take part in the town planning subgroup.
Okay,
thank you, Ross.
Thanks, Ross. Any quick questions? I'm just conscious of time. Any
Councillor
quick
Beveridge
questions
the
for
hand,
Craig?
Councillor Beveridge.
Councillor Beveridge, I can't see any hands, sorry. Councillor Beveridge, on your vote.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Craig. Good, concise presentation. Just a couple of wee questions and an observation. The rejuvenation of the town centre has been going on for quite a long number of years now, and I think I must at this point go and thank Malcolm Ross for his attention. I was one of the councillors that visited the first class the Clyde Valley, the previous Broomnall Church, that they have been up there, and it's absolutely outstanding what's happening in the town centre. So the town centre working is ongoing just now. The rejuvenation, that's easy for me to say, the rejuvenation of Airdrie town centre is ongoing, and I totally welcome that. Especially up the South Bridge Street, and see Ors, what's happening in Ors building after a long number of years. It's great to see. But can I just ask, see the police office you're talking about? I take it that is owned by the police authority, is not owned by the council. Is that the case?
That's correct, Councillor. So we're working in partnership with Police Scotland to look at how they dispose of that asset, and what we've done is commissioned a feasibility study for its refurbishment to residential use. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's about 12 flatted properties that we can secure from that building. It's a quality building and a very good townscape with the church, the library. It's a good area that we want to see maintained rather than fall into dereliction and vacancy.
Absolutely. So just to come back on that, you're saying you've identified so far for 12 flats, but is there scope for, if there's something else would come in there? That's not set in stone yet. The council's going to take that over. Is that the case? So that there could be scope for other usage of that building?
I'm not 100% sure that we've taken ownership. I don't think we have, and it'd be for Police Scotland to determine how they dispose of their assets. Clearly, if it's a commercial use, then as a council, we want to encourage business. We want to encourage commercial activity. So we are open to that, because one of the key things that we're looking for across all our towns is to have a sort of mixed use element to it in terms of retaining as many businesses as we can, while at the same time promoting an increase in residential. So the simple answer to your question is, I can't confirm 100%, but it would be dependent on the proposed use, whether or not it would be in line with the vision itself.
Right. So, but there's no plans afoot for to put houses in that at the present time. That's just a vision.
No, we've done a feasibility study. We've commissioned one. We've paid for one to be done to look at it can be refurbished and what it could be refurbished towards. But as I say, I do not think at this time we've purchased that building from Police Scotland. The purpose of a feasibility study is to basically identify to the owners of these heritage assets that there is life after their use ends, but it's also to basically highlight it to RSLs like the Clyde Valley Housing Association, who, as you said, did a fantastic job down at Broomnall. Who's not to say they couldn't do a similar fantastic job with the police station if it fits their requirements.
Thank you.
Alan, can we move on to another question? Is it you got one last one?
No, I say thanks, Michael.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Craig?
Councillor Costello.
Chris, on you go.
Thanks, Michael. Craig, just to ask, do you have any specific plans for young people to be part of the co-production town centre plan? And also, if there are plans, would there be scope to have CLD involved in that and youth work to ensure that there's youth input in the plans?
We engaged with the Scottish Youth Parliament and with CLD through the town visions. We held specific workshops for that group to be part of the discussion around the visions. The way we're seeing the subgroup operating, Councillor, is that it's actually going to be, rather than commenting on something that officers produce, it's going to be a co-production. So it has to be a manageable number of people to basically, agree outcomes at the end of each workshop. So there's a stage for wider public consultation and engagement further down the line, which will be, from 3 to 93. But yes, what I've been trying to do in terms of looking at the volunteers that have already put their names forward for Wishaw, Motherwell and Cumbernauld is to try and get as a representative spread as possible from different age groups, backgrounds and interests, so that it's not just populated by those with a existing interest in the town, but quite rightly, as you've pointed out, the youth, because this is a 10-year programme. So I was out doing a presentation to primary 7 children in Cumbernauld about the Cumbernauld vision, and I made it clear to them they'll be in their 20s by the time the vision's realised. So it's very important that we actually speak now the users and the occupiers and the purchasers of the vision that we are hoping to deliver. So yes, we will engage with the youth, and that could be done through different mechanisms, CLD, Youth Parliament, etc. The community board itself isn't age restrictive. I don't think. Matt can correct me on that. So the youth can attend the community board. Anyone who attends the community board can be part of this subgroup. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Again, I'm just conscious of time. Any last question for Craig? And we can then move on to obviously contacting Craig by email with interest. Any last question? No.
Thank you for the opportunity, Chair. Thank you very much.
No problem, Craig. Thanks for that update, and obviously very useful. And obviously, not to render on the point, but obviously the Airdrie Police Station is going to pull a few heartstrings and quite sensitive around the town centre. So I think that'll be a watch this space. But obviously, it's all part of an overall proposal. But thank you very much for that, Craig. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Just moving on to the local engagement or consultation. Ross, can you just guide me on that? Is there anything specific?
Yeah. So, Chair, that's just really to highlight any engagement processes or consultations that have been raised with us. One has been sent to me that will bring to the attention of the board, and it's from the NHS and the Monklands Engagement Forum. So this is a forum that's meeting around the development of the new hospital. It has been highlighted to me, however, there isn't a member from the Airdrie Community Board sits on that forum. So the NHS have asked if anyone from the board would have an interest in attending the meetings. The meetings are held monthly and virtually. And what I can do is tomorrow morning when I'm sending out Craig's details, I can attach the information around this and the contact if any would be interested in being involved in that forum around the development of the new hospital, particularly because it sits within our board area. I think it's important that there's a local voice maybe attends that forum, but that'll be up for board members to decide and take forward. That's the only engagement information we've got for this round, but I would highlight as well, Chair, that if people are carrying out local engagements and consultations and they're looking to publicise or promote that wider, get in touch with the community partnership team and we'll support you to do that across the board area.
Okay, thank you, Ross. Point 3, community concordat update from Banel. Is that yourself, Judith?
That is, Michael. Thanks. Just a very brief update. So, as you'll know, Banel has been funded by North Lanarkshire Partnership to create a community concordat in consultation with all key stakeholders. The concordat or agreement will set out shared values and approaches to empowering and investing in local communities to support improved wellbeing, equality and sustainability. Information was sent on the community concordat within Banel's partner update, which was sent out with all the board papers, so everybody should have a copy of that. There's a link to the briefing paper within that and also the survey. The survey is now closed. That closed on the 10th of June. And at the moment, just looking at the survey results, and it's hoped that the results for the survey and also the focus groups that are also being planned and looked at the moment will inform the community concordat, and that should be drafted and launched hopefully early in 2023. But if you've got any questions, please contact my colleague Ian Johnson, who is the Community Concordat Coordinator, which is not the easiest job title, and I'll put his emails in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you for that, Judith. Any quick questions for Judith? No questions for Judith. Okay, thank you very much. And just moving on to the two bottom agendas, the local development programme update, Matt Costello. Matt?
Thanks, Chair. Very briefly, just everybody was issued with a copy of the report relating to the local development programme. The report gives an update on the work we're doing in relation to application forms from local community groups, project proposal forms, and the process we're now adopting to do that, to try and make that as comprehensive as possible. There's some more details in the report regarding that. And the appendices of the report give updates on the projects that are ongoing, highlighting the ones that were completed in the last financial year, the ones we're planning to do in this financial year, and the other projects that we're seeking some approvals for to allow us to start the ball rolling and taking those projects forward, Chair. So we'd just be happy if the community board can consider that and give us approval to take that forward. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Is the board happy to consider that? Any objections? No, I can't see everyone. Ross is MD objecting. MD, I can't see, no.
Everyone's fully approving of that as far as I can see, Chair. We can just move on to the next item.
Okay, thanks very much. Could I just ask one question on the project, Matt? It's just about, I've had a couple of people ask me about the St Dominic's Muga proposal. If there was any timescales to that, is there a timescale on that yet, or is it just still pending at the moment?
Still pending at the moment, Chair. There's still work required with the local community groups in there, look at other funding opportunities, etc. But it's something that's the team is looking at the moment, but there's no particular timescales we can report on just now.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, just moving on to the next point, petitions. And I see there's no petitions received.
No petitions at all.
Okay, thanks very much. And second last point before the end of the meeting, any other competent business from anyone? I've got a couple, but I'll wait till somebody else, if anybody else wants to jump in. Can't see everyone, Ross. I don't know if I'm missing anyone.
No hands up in the chat bar's clear, Chair.
Okay, I'll just pop in if you don't mind. I've just got a couple of points I would like to see brought to either the next meeting or maybe even the one after that. The 2 points I'd like to bring up is I would like to see an NHS update regarding Airdrie Health Centre and the availability of surgeries and how people can get better contact with their surgeries. So if someone could maybe ask for somebody in the NHS to give us a little update on that at the next meeting.
We've got a hand up from Margaret, I believe one of our NHS colleagues. Chair, could bring her in just now.
Hi, I'm Margaret McGreevy. I'm the service manager in Airdrie Health Centre. With regards to the building, you're talking about the netting that's over the front of the building?
No, no. This is local residents asking about the specific GP availability, getting an appointment, calling in to the clinics that are there, all the different surgeries, etc. So it was just to really get a bit of an update where we are, what do we see going forward, maybe say the next 18 months. It's just, for example, you know, I'm just giving you a couple of examples here, and you've probably heard them all. Can't get a doctor's appointment for 6 weeks, and I've tried phone. It took me an hour and a half to get a call through to a surgery, etc. All that's the type of thing that's going on at the moment. So it was really a bit of an update on the service in general from Airdrie Health Centre.
Okay, I will bring another detailed report at the next time, but in actual fact the GP should be working at the normal or usual way they should be working. Well, sorry, they should be back to normal now, almost, with their surgeries. We have had a problem with the phones because there was a new phone system set up, and the GPs themselves today, I was on a meeting with them, and they were saying that a lot of people are saying they're getting actually cut off calls. So we'll look into that. What was the other thing that you asked about?
Just general availability of appointments to see GPs, and you know, the usual thing that's coming out at the moment. So it's really just to give you some time to look into it and give us some feedback at the meeting.
I will do it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And the last point I had on it, Chair, was, and it probably would be for the next Ross, for the next meeting, would be just to try and get some update for, and I hate to say it, but getting into the winter time, for the winter action plan regarding roads, salt and grit bins, all the usual stuff for winter. If we can maybe get a bit of an update, what the thoughts are for this winter coming.
I think we can certainly pick that up, Chair. That's maybe something we'll ask our community champion to feedback on. We can do that through our service leads for each service, and we can get information on that maybe for the community champion to update at the next meeting. But we'll take that as an action note. Note taker will take that down for a winter resilience update, and we'll bring that to the next cycle.
That's fine. Matt, you had your hand up. Sorry, just seen you. No?
No, it's fine, Chair. Ross has covered that.
All right, okay. That's the sort of
Ross. Sorry, Brian Lafferty, Councillor McBride. I'll be happy to bring that back to next once we speak to Nicole's team.
Yep, that's
Thanks,
fine.
Brian.
Okay, that's all the 2 points from me, Ross. If there's anyone else, get any other competent business?
There's no, I can't see any hands up, and there's nothing in the chat bar, so I think we've maybe exhausted all possibilities, Chair.
Okay, and the last point is date and time of next meeting.
So the date of the next meeting will be Wednesday, the 7th of September, obviously 2022, and again it'll be 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. The actual platform used will be confirmed nearer the time once we work out what's happening with our software things. But again, I'll put a note of that time into the little update I send tomorrow morning to everyone.
One hand raised there, Lynn. Lynn Adams, one hand raised.
Hi. It's regarding the 7th of September, I'm actually retiring on the 30th of September this year. So this will be my last community board sort of kind of official meeting. Because I'll be on a cruise on the 7th of September. I'll be on annual leave. So I would just like to thank all the board members. And I've enjoyed being part of the community board membership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lynn, for that. And thank you for your time and service, and especially onto the community board. And don't apologise about your cruise. I wish it was me. But thank you very much, and it was good to see you on the community boards, and good luck with your retirement. Sorry, you're on mute, Lynn.
Sorry, there is recruitment underway for a new health improvement senior, so hopefully there should be somebody in place by the time I leave. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Lynn.
That will represent us.
Thank you. Ross, I was just going to jump in very quickly about potential chairs for next meetings. Is that something that's in hand, or is it something we need to spread out to other people?
I think, Chair, it would actually be good to open it up to the board, because I think having maybe a couple of community chairs available would certainly benefit moving forward. And I'm very conscious we don't want, where possible, and no offence to anyone, where possible we don't want elected members and definitely not council officers chairing this forum. We want it to be the community that lead on the board. So I don't know if you maybe want to raise that and ask them just now, Chair.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Obviously, as I said at the start, I just jumped in at the very last minute. The chair who was planned just couldn't make it. So I know we've put this out before at previous community board meetings. If there's anyone you know who are in community groups, and also even people who are maybe in sort of the at-home centre, who are maybe younger people who would like to come in, who we've had before in the past, I think that would be really useful. And you know, if they're a bit nervous, I'm sure somebody could guide them through the agenda just to settle them in. I think we'd be happy to do that. So if you do know anyone in community groups specifically, then please sort of email Ross. Would that be the best thing to do, is contact yourself, Ross?
Yes, Chair, I was just going to say that it would be, if you email the Community Matters mailbox, again, I'll put the detail in the email for tomorrow. And just so everyone's clear, the Chair doesn't create the agenda. We produce the agenda for the Chair. We'll have a pre-board meeting with them to talk through anything that's coming up, make sure they're aware of any of the items for discussion. So people are supported through the whole process. There's no expectation that they're going to take on the running of the board, but it is really to have an independent community member as the chair at each meeting.
Okay, thanks very much, Ross. Do you get any last minute questions you want to ask before we finish? No, not missing anyone, Ross. No.
No hands up. Chat bar's clear.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night and thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye, folks.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.